With me I have Hall of Famer Johnny Mize. I remember him. He played for the Giants back there. Leo DeRocha was his manager for a while, and then went over to the Yankees about, was it 49?
Yes, latter part of the season of 49.
What'd you think about the switch when they traded you?
Well, I wasn't doing much playing with the Giants because DeRocha was down to where he wanted to get rid of all the older players and get in younger players. So it was a break for me because I'm going to a ball club that has a chance to win the pennant.
And you did quite a few with the Yankees.
Well, we did 5 in a row.
And you had a chance to play with DiMaggio?
Yes, he was there in 49, 50, 51. And Tommy Henrik, he quit in 50, so he was there for a couple of them. And so I was there when Mantle came up and McDougal and Whitey, and saw quite a few of them come up.
You played first base. When you used to go out to the pitcher's mound with Casey Stengel, what would he say to you guys?
Oh, there's no telling what Casey would say. One time, and we was playing an exhibition game in San Antonio, and we had about 10, 12-run lead in the 9th inning, bottom of the 9th, and Tommy Byrne was pitching, and he was walking 2 or 3 men in a row, and Casey came out and said, "I'm going to have to take you out." And he said, "Oh, let me stay in here. We got a big lead." He said, "I want to go to bed tonight, and so do these other people."
Only 3 players hit 3 home runs in a game in 2 different leagues. Who are they, John, besides yourself?
Well, what I understand is 3 of us hit a 3 home run in the game in both leagues, which is Babe Ruth and Claudell Washington and then myself.
That's quite a feat because that's a great trivia question.
Yes, well, see, I've hit 3 home runs in 6 times, so I hold a record for that.
You say in Georgia, how many people are in the Hall of Fame in the state of Georgia in baseball?
Well, there's only been 4, and that's been Ty Cobb, Jackie Robinson, Bill Terry, and myself. And
what do you do to keep yourself busy nowadays?
Well, I don't stay busy. I don't get up too early in the mornings, and that time I read the paper and look around a little bit. It's already noon, and go get the mail. So if the weather's nice, maybe I fool in the yard. If not, I just come back and read a book or something like that.
You're back in the same town where you were born?
Yeah, I've been there about 17 years. A little town called Demarest up in the northeast corner.
What stands out most of your mind other than the Hall of Fame in baseball with the Yankees and the Giants in New York?
Well, just like, we didn't win with the Giants, and going over the Yankees and winning every year, it made it easy. Like, say, when you go out to eat at night, people want to know when you're going to lose a game, and with the Giants, they want to know when you're going to win one. So it was really a break for me.
Now, nowadays, the ball players kind of get by quite easy. They get a lot of money. They don't hit as many home runs as you did back in those days. 51, 41, it was kind of common for you.
Well, I don't know. I got to live their ball because you can see the way it bounces when the ball hits in the outfield, and they should hit more home runs because everybody's swinging for home runs. You see a guy nearly fall down with a man on third base and 1 out, and he's a winning run, and just all he needs is just an ordinary fly ball, and they're trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark.
What do you like when you come into the old-timers games, when the guys get together, the old Yankees and your fellow Hall of Famers?
Well, it's just nice, to run across a guy just like Tommy Henrik here, just like someone said a while ago, "When's the last time you saw him?" And I said, "I have no idea. It could be to maybe the old Yankees old-timers game, which I haven't been invited back to in probably, 10 or 12 years or so."
Well, Barry Halp is here tonight. We'll put in a good plug for you. We'll get you back to New York. We'd love to have you back here.
No, they only invite guys back and can play, and I don't play.
Tom Seaver was also to receive an award tonight, but unfortunately there has been a death in his family, and he's expressed his regrets that he's been unable to attend. Our final award winner: any catalog of baseball's great hitters has to include John Robert Mize, the Big Cat, who terrorized pitchers in both leagues during a 15-year career that began in 1936, ended with the Yankees, and eventually he wound up in Cooperstown. Beginning with the St. Louis Cardinals, he was the National League batting champion in 1939 and the league's home run king in both 1939 and 1940. In 42, he was traded to the Giants, and as a member of the New York Giants, In 1947, he was again the home run king with 51. In 48, he struck 40 homers and again shared the home run title. All told, he was a 4-time home run champion. He is the only hitter ever to have 3 straight homers in a game 4 different times, and also holds the major league record for 3 home run games with 6. Ladies and gentlemen, with honor, we present Hall of Famer Johnny Mize, and Bill Shannon will make his presentation.
Thanks a lot. I didn't think I was going to make it. Same way I'm receiving this award as a baseball player. The coach in the small college in my hometown had to beg me to come out for baseball. I was a tennis player. It only took 2 to play tennis, and but he wanted me to come out and said, well, I said I didn't care anything about it. But anyway, I went out, and that Friday he put me in the pinch hit, and I got a base hit, and the next day he put me in the outfield, and from then on I became a ball player. And at the age of 15, I was playing on a college team, and they had the Piedmont Academy, so the next year the city took over. Now, when it comes time to baseball season, they want to know if I was going to play with them, and I said, I'm in high school and has nothing to do with Piedmont anymore. And so they said, we'll ask the coach about it. So he says, come on out. We'll fix it up to where you can take a subject in college. So I go out. They never mentioned what subject it was, and I didn't either. So I was having enough trouble in high school. So actually I ended up playing college ball 3 years while in high school. And it made it to wherever town close by would call you and want you to come play for them against some team. And every town had a ball club then, and cotton mills and the sawmill up in Helen, Georgia. And they, in fact, finally Frank Rickey came down. They said the lumber company was out of Rochester, New York, and the Cardinals had a club there, and nearly every other team, other town also. But they said they had a guy down there that could hit a ball a long way, so he came down, and I signed a contract with him. I would have to say probably I took a cut in salary to sign, because I was making more money playing with all the different towns. Once you get started, you like to, get into the major leagues, and once you get in the major leagues, you want to get into the World Series, or also make the All-Star team. I was called up to St. Louis at the end of the 34th season, and as the year they won the pennant on the last day of the season, I was brought in to be used as a pinch hitter in case there was a playoff. So seeing how they celebrated in the clubhouse, I thought, well, this looks pretty good. I'd like to get in on this sometime. So then I stayed around St. Louis for a few years, but in the meantime, I'd tell people I'm the only guy probably in the history of baseball that played in the major leagues because I couldn't play in the minors. I had an operation on both legs in the winter of 35. So Mr. Rickey tells me, he said, we're going to keep you on the club. You can pinch hit and fill in because you can't play regular down at Rochester. So I managed to stay around for 18 years, including 3 years in the service. And finally, on Pearl Harbor Day, I was quail hunting in southern Missouri, and father-in-law called me and said, the Rocher wants to talk to you before he goes to Chicago tonight. I said, well, on the way in, he said, and so I called Leo, and he said, we're trying to make a deal for you. But then he called me the next day and told me, he said, you've been traded to the Giants. They had a meeting before we did, and so I ended up with the Giants, and I had some good years with the Giants, same way with the Cardinals, and some of the nights wasn't too bad either, so so I ended up finally, I thought I was going to the Red Sox. We were on a road trip, and Scout was around, and writers are saying this Scout is following me around at the Red Sox are trying to make a deal. But then the first night I get home, they called me and said, "You've been traded to the Yankees. Can you join them in Detroit tomorrow morning?" So we go out and get my uniform and our bats and other stuff out of the clubhouse that night and joined the ball club in Detroit the next day. And so we ended up there with 5 pennants and 5 World Series. So they wasn't too bad. In the National League, I had made the All-Star team 9 years. And probably in 41, I could have been, I don't know, I signed a 2-year contract. It could have been the first 2-year contract in baseball. And same thing in 53, I was picked on the American League All-Star team, yeah, and played in Cincinnati, and I'm probably the first player that ever played in an All-Star game in both leagues. So I've had quite a little record around, and now that this honor comes up, when you become 80 years old, you're not thinking about anybody's going to honor you anymore because it's been about 40 years since I played. So I want to thank them for picking me, and thanks again.